you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Nice to
Good.
see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Welcome to class.
Okay, thank you.
Great, great. And Annabelle, hello.
Hello,
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, and you?
Great, I'm great. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
Good, good. Usually I do the conversation questions at this time, but today we're doing a little bit different, still speaking based, but a little bit different. And I don't know why I changed it. I just wasn't thinking when I signed up for the classes, so I didn't realize I picked a different class for today. But it's still good speaking practice, and we'll have a good discussion, certainly. Anna Carolina, hello.
Hi, Stephanie.
How are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. And you?
Great. I'm good, thank you.
Did you did you go to your job?
I'm still waiting for the background check.
All right.
Yeah, so it'll be 2 or 3 more days, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks for asking. Hopefully soon.
Yes. Hope. I fingers crossed.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And Anna Christina, hello, welcome.
Hello, teacher.
How are you today?
Excellent, thank you. And you?
I'm great, thank you. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
Great, great. Carolina, hello.
Hello, teacher. I am good. And you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for asking. Welcome to class.
You're welcome.
Great. Kerman, hello.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good too.
Good, good. Welcome to class. And Ksenia, hello. Welcome.
Hello, Stephanie.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. And you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you. And one more. Natalia, hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How are you today?
Well, I'm fine, thank you.
Great, great. And have you been in my class before?
Just once, once. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Where are you from again?
I'm from Russia.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful. Great. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Great. All right. So, usually at this time, I do speaking practice, which is just questions around a topic. But when I entered my schedule, I just wasn't thinking, and so I picked kind of a different format. This is discussion starters. It's still a speaking-based class, but we'll do a little reading with it as well, and some vocabulary work. But we will start and end with discussion, so you'll get many opportunities to speak. Let's see, and the topic today is minimum wage. Minimum wage, so the least amount that a company can legally pay workers or employees. So we'll just go to that, get started. The link is in the chat. And we're going to start with some discussion questions. This will be a little different. With this, I do more of a natural discussion. So I won't ask each of you in turn to answer every question. But I will rather have you volunteer to answer when you'd like. But of course, if there's anyone I haven't heard from at all, I may ask you directly. So that's kind of how we'll go. That way you can respond to each other. It's more of an authentic or realistic discussion that way. So first question, What is the lowest amount of money per hour that people can legally earn in your native country? So tell us the lowest amount and then give us some idea of how much that is. Like, is that enough for people to live off or not?
Can I, teacher?
Yeah, go ahead, Anna.
Well, I am not sure about the amount of money per hour, but what is true is the lowest amount of money per month is 400 or 500 euros per month. Mainly, for example, for blue collar works like dealers pizza, waiters, or something like that. I don't remember at the moment other kind of work. Because free jobs like electrician, plumber, or many of them, and a lot of money because in addition is in my opinion is a black economy.
Interesting. So is that 450 or 500 euros enough?
Per month, yes, for I don't know how to say in English, but half day of work.
Oh, so part-time. Yeah, we would say.
One I don't know. I don't know how to say that.
Half-time work or half day.
Yes, the middle of the time, of a day work.
Okay, yeah. We would probably say part-time work. Part-time.
Okay, part-time. Thank you.
Great. All right, thanks for sharing. Anna. Excellent. Good to know. Yeah.
I can say that in Spain, I think the minimum wage per hour is 5 euros or something like that. And the problem is that, for example, I saw in the case of the housekeeper, the people give less money to this person because if you pay the minimum wage, you have the obligation to pay for the vacation and the share of the social security. But if you don't make a contract to the housekeeper, you don't need the necessity to pay them for that, both for the vacation and the shared social security. Then they don't earn this enough money.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds difficult. Yeah, so many people must be making very little, it sounds like. Which seems to be the case with minimum wage in many places. Other people from other countries, what is the minimum wage?
Well, so I have just Googled and checked out the information concerning the minimum wage in Russia, and okay, according to Google, so it should be about $100 a month. Well, certainly it's a very little sum, but yeah, so it's a very little sum in Russia as well. But I mean that certainly the prices in Russia are not so high, lower, well, compared with Europe. And so who receives such a minimum wage? Well, I suppose that mainly so maybe some ladies who do the cleaning, for instance, I think, or something like that. But actually, I'm not sure.
Great, yeah.
I can add.
Yeah, add on, Ksenia.
It's wage for medical personnel, for teacher, for cleaner service, and something like that. But I don't agree with the price on products, because in Europe is much is much less the price on products. So we can buy 1 liter of milk about $1.50. But in Europe I can buy 5 liters for this price. So I don't agree about price.
Okay, yeah, some difference in cost of living, certainly. Interesting. Thank you both. How about, let's see, we've heard from Spain, Russia. How about in South America? We have several people down in South America. What are minimum wages like down there?
Marian?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here in Colombia, the minimum wages is approximately 300 per month. Does mean that per hour is like $1, something like that. I think it's not enough for people, but we have a lot of informal works. So maybe people who works in informal works can earn more money than the people who earn the minimum wage working for a company. But the one of the good things for work in a company is that the company have to pay the social security and the health and no more. So I think it's not enough for people.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be difficult to make ends meet on that salary. Yeah, great. Thanks for sharing, Carolina. Anyone else? How do they do it in Brazil? Or in Chile?
Well, in Chile, it's similar than Colombia. It's 300 more or less per month. And this money is not enough to have a good quality of life. We need much more money. And I also think it's not fair for the people to win this quantity of money. They deserve more. And other people is very rich, and the world is not enough.
True. There's so much wealth in the world. It's a shame how low the minimum is. Great, thanks for sharing. Anyone else on this question?
Can I, teacher?
Yes, Philip, welcome. Hello.
Thank you, teacher. Hi.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is the minimum wage like in Quebec?
Yes, no, not in Quebec.
Oh, okay.
Very high. I'll tell you about Cameroon.
Oh, yeah, tell us about Cameroon.
Yes, it's less than $70 a month. It's very low. That's why the corruption is very high in the country, in that country, because the workers cannot meet the ends with such amount of money, so they try to sell their services to people. That's why if you put the minimum wage very low, you are encouraging corruption.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 'cause then that's the only way to make money. If the legal salary, if legal wages are so low, people will turn to corruption and crime.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, and I think we find that a lot in a lot of countries, underdeveloped or second or third world countries, maybe more than say Canada. Great, thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
Anyone else? I would like to hear from about Brazil, Ana Carolina.
Okay. Here in my country, the minimum wage is about $500, and it remained unchanged since May of this year. And it is awful because the inflation is going through the roof now. And well, teacher, the government has been making a mess, you know. The economy is awful now. And well, they had increased the salaries of the maids just a bit. They are now about $700 just each, the minimum. Of course, I pay more for my maid, and we have a huge economic gap in my country.
Interesting. Yeah, so it sounds like pretty similar. There's a huge difference between the rich and the people who are making the minimum wage. All right. Well, excellent. Thank you for sharing, everyone. So this is good. That's kind of the main idea of our reading today. Is this whole concept of whether minimum wage is actually enough to survive. And as we can see just from our discussion, usually it is not enough. All right, so before we do the reading, it is a short reading, so we're going to do the vocabulary first. And that way we can use the vocabulary in some of the discussion afterwards. And I really like the vocabulary here. I find most of it is very useful. So let's look at the vocabulary. So when it's your turn, we'll go through, I'll ask each of you one by one. When it's your turn, just read the vocabulary item and take a guess as to which meaning belongs to it. We have quite a few idioms here, so might be challenging, but we'll give it a try. So let's see, and I'll start with a volunteer. Do I have a volunteer to do number one?
Can I, teacher?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Anna. Go ahead.
Get by. Get by is to manage, to have just enough money to pay the bills and live.
Exactly. Very good. Letter C. Excellent. And important, if you're just getting by, you don't have extra money. It is not comfortable. But you have a place to live and food to eat. Great. All right. Let's maybe go to the left. How about Ana Cristina? Can you take number two? Merely.
Yes. Merely. I think that's just barely.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Merely means just barely. So if you have merely enough money, you have just barely enough money. So not extra. Great. Thank you. Ana Carolina, number 3.
Okay. Outsource. Hold on, teacher. Yeah, well. My gosh. Money that's not already designed to pay for living expenses and bills?
Ah, good guess. It's not quite. I'm going to give you a hint. This has to do with finding workers.
To hire temporary workers outside of the company?
Yeah, that's our answer. Yep, so you outsource if you go outside of your company to find people to work. Great. Thank you very much. Ana Belén, number 4.
Desperate. In great need of resources.
Exactly. Yep, desperate, in great need of resources. So when you run out of food and money, you get desperate. Great. Philip, how about our next one?
Okay. To think twice. Think twice means to consider the consequences of one's actions.
Very good. Exactly right. This is a very common idiom. To think twice just means to consider your actions carefully. Thank you. Natalia, next one.
So get a foot in the door. To get an entry-level position or opportunity that could lead to something better.
Yeah, great. It's a good work idiom. Get your foot in the door, and then eventually you can get your whole body through the door to a better job. Great. Ksenia, number 7.
Overqualified. It's J. To have more than the necessary skills or education for a job.
I'm sorry, which letter?
G.
Oh, G. Yes, of course. It's kind of hard to see. I'm not sure whether drawing lines or typing letters is easier to see for people. Exactly right. Yep. So if you are overqualified, you have too much experience or skills for the job. All right, Herman, next one.
Disposable income. Money that is not already designated to pay for living expenses and bills.
Exactly. This is the kind of money we all want. So people with minimum wage, they don't typically have any disposable income. That's just a fancy way of saying extra money. Great. Number 9, Carolina.
Within one's grasp. Is possible? Achievable? Achievable.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So this idiom means it is possible to get or achievable. It's within your grasp or your reach. Grasp means if you grasp something, you hold it in your hand.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Carolina. And back to Anna for the very last one.
Okay, unrealistic. Not likely to happen. Letter A.
Great. And we're going to draw the line all the way around this way. Whee! All right. Wonderful.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Nice work, everyone. So that's a little of the vocabulary. We'll see. We are going to do some reading. I think we'll just continue taking turns in order, but if you do not want to read, you do not have to read. This is not a reading class. So if you don't want to read, just say pass, and we'll go to the next person. So let's see, we have, we'll go by paragraphs. It's not letting me highlight places, but maybe if I take this. So just the first paragraph, from the title to survive. Ana Cristina, are you interested in reading that for us?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Minimum wage. Minimum wage is the lowest amount of money an employer is legally allowed to pay an employee. The hourly rate of yearly salary differs in every country. In some countries, minimum wage is enough for people to get by. In other nations, minimum wage allows people to merely survive.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Are there any questions on this paragraph? Any of the vocabulary or any of the meaning? All right, so basic introduction, and just one note, this word is a soft G, so wage, wage. Great, so thank you, Ana Cristina. Ana Carolina, second paragraph, if you wish.
Of course, thank you. Some people argue that increasing the rate of minimum wage can actually lead to job loss. If forced to pay more, employers may choose to maintain a smaller workforce. They may also, teacher, sorry, gosh. Can I kick off again?
Yes, of course, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Some people argue that increasing the rate of minimum wage can actually lead to job loss. If forced to pay more, employers may choose to maintain a smaller workforce. They may also outsource work from countries where people are more desperate and will accept lower wages.
Very nice, thank you very much. Excellent. So that's an interesting argument against high minimum wage. Any questions on this second paragraph? All right, great. Ana Belén, the third paragraph is yours if you want it.
Businesses aren't the only ones to blame. Our purchasing habits help keep minimum wage low. Most people don't think twice about where cheap clothing and goods are manufactured. Would you be willing to pay more for products if you knew workers were being paid a fair wage to make them?
All right, good. So another consideration. Any questions on the third paragraph? All right, so kind of an argument that it's the wages also partly our fault. We don't want to pay more for things. So an interesting argument. Let's go around to Philip. Philip, will you read number 4 for us?
Yes, teacher.
Great.
Many students and teens take minimum wage jobs in order to get a foot in the door. After they graduated, many students are overqualified for these jobs. but they have to start at the bottom. Young people can't contribute much to the economy if they have no disposable income.
Oh, Philip? Yeah, Philip, your mic went out. We cannot hear you.
Oh, many students and teens take minimum wage jobs in order to get a foot in the door. After they graduated, many students are overqualified for these jobs, but they have to start at the bottom. Young people can't contribute much to the economy if they have no disposable income. Is spending more really the answer? Though, what will happen if everyone in the world had a bit more spending money?
Wonderful. Thank you. I think we definitely heard you that time. Great, great. So anyone have any questions on this paragraph? Great. All right. So thank you very much. And let's carry on one last paragraph on Natalia.
Okay, minimum wage in some countries is so low that it traps people in poverty. Some people think putting an end to world poverty is within our grasp. Would an international minimum wage help us reach this goal? Many economists argue that this is an unrealistic idea. Anything that is universal is very difficult to enforce. Would you bother getting an education if a minimum wage job let you live comfortably?
All right. Great. Thank you, Natalia. Good. So does anyone have any questions on the last paragraph?
Teacher, I don't know the meaning of traps.
Traps. Yeah, traps is when, actually let me just get you a quick image of something that is trapped. That'll be that's the best way to remember vocabulary. Nice picture. And this is kind of a figurative use of it, but if someone or something is trapped, they cannot get out.
Yeah, I understand now.
So trapped in poverty. Great, good. Other questions? All right. This reading is kind of not really a persuasive essay. It gives kind of both sides an argument for minimum wage, high or a low minimum wage. So, thank you for reading, everyone. Let's continue. We're not going to do the comprehension. I'll assume the comprehension is good since there are no more questions. So let's go on to some more discussion, and if we have time after that, we can get back to the vocabulary. So let's look at the first discussion question here. Kind of a debate question, so we can have some agreement, some disagreement, responding to each other. So here's the question, and we'll again just open to volunteers. Does minimum wage give employers the right to pay people less than they deserve? What do you think?
Okay, so I can start. So, yeah, I suppose that there is a difference between theory and practice. So I suppose that theoretically, employers don't have the right to pay people less than than they deserve. But so as we have just discussed, in quite a lot of countries, people are paid less than they really need, and in most cases, these jobs are so the jobs which involve quite heavy work, well, physical work, for instance, and so in practice, so the employees are sometimes or often paid less than they deserve. And besides, we know that there is a problem of illegal labor. So in some countries, so people work illegally, and in this case, they are paid even less than this official minimum wage.
Great, I think that's an important distinction. In theory, of course, it's not right, but it's more complicated when it comes to reality. Interesting. Other answers or responses? Anyone else?
Can I, teacher?
Yeah, go ahead, Anna.
I don't agree with this situation, but it's commonly, at least in my country, because of the situation of it, the crisis, because of the crisis. Most of the people can't work according to the preparation that they have. Everyone works on anything, not caring the low wage and work on social hours, which isn't rewarding. Because of this situation, as I was saying, employers use, I don't know how to say that, se aprovechan, I don't know, this situation, employees use this situation in order to pay less money, people who are desperate because many of them don't have enough money to eat, which is the most important. Have the necessity to work in anything. That's all.
Yeah, and we might say they take advantage of the
yes, take advantage. Employers take advantage of workers.
Certainly.
Yes.
Great, nice, well said.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anna is right, because in Spain, I think the employer pay less to the people if the minimum wage doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think certainly, I know in the United States, if there weren't a minimum wage, people would make far less because they would be taken advantage of. Yeah, so I agree with you both. Other thoughts on this question? All right, we've got some other good questions here. So let's look at the second one. So do you agree with the practice of having different minimum wage rates in a single country? So for example, in the United States, well, we have different minimum wage rates just in different states.
Yes.
So we could have up to 50 different minimum wage rates, and that's decided by the state. But a country could pay a different minimum wage, say for teenagers versus adults, so based on age, or skilled labor versus unskilled labor, so a plumber versus a cleaner. What do you think about that?
Yes, I think I agree with that. to put minimum wages rates, different minimum wage rates, because let's say if you are qualified, the type of job you are doing, let's say IT, for example, is not the same as lifting things to a company. So they must remunerate you as according to what you worth. Yeah. So the work is not the same. You work in a IT field, and someone who is just there to lift things.
Yeah.
You will not have the same wage, the same minimum wage.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely a different wage based on skill level and effort.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd agree. Thanks, Philip.
Yes.
Anyone else? What do others think?
May I?
Yeah, go ahead, Anna Carolina.
I agree as well. Because for instance, a teenager usually doesn't she have to support a family or things like that, you know? It is just how can I say, an extra allowance, you know, and based on the type of job, yes, because sometimes you have to invest to pay a tuition to do something. Sometimes the job requires some specific skills, and also I believe it should be based on the, I'm not sure about it, per capita income according the per capita income, because each region has a different per capita income, and maybe it's a poor region. Is it right to say, teacher?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how an economist would say it, but it makes sense. Based on per capita income would mean based on the average income of a person.
Because some regions are poorer than other regions, you know. Here in Brazil, it's very different. The northeast and the south. So people in the south of Brazil should have a bigger wage, you know.
And is the South has a smaller per capita income?
No, the South has a bigger.
Bigger. Yeah. So
the South of Brazil is richer than the Northeast. The Northeast is very poor.
Yeah.
And maybe if they set up a minimum wage, a high minimum wage, a lot of people will be unemployed there.
I see. Interesting. Interesting, yeah, especially for really huge countries, I think, like Brazil, where the living, the cost of living and income can vary so dramatically. Good. Anyone else thoughts on that? All right, so good. I think we've said some important things, age, type of job, whether you have to invest money to get that job. How about this number 3? Does raising the price of low-skilled labor reduce the demand for it? So if minimum wage is raised for low-skilled labor, like cleaners, will businesses simply employ fewer What do you think?
I think at the beginning the answer is yes, because the first impact will be that the prices will be higher. But after a couple of months or maybe a couple of years, the inflation will affect the prices and the money will be worth less than before. And everything will be the same. Probably the solution is just to make a better division of the incomes. I mean, to give more money to the people in general, but just not only for the rich people. I mean, more taxes for rich people and less taxes for poor people.
Yeah, so as far as a strategy for evening out pay, that this maybe won't really work. Interesting thoughts. And I agree. I think it would even out after time and we'd be in the same position. Interesting. Other thoughts or responses? All right, so no more thoughts on that one? All right, we do have a good critical thinking question with this one. So two sides to this. So should, and I think maybe for this question I'd like to hear from everyone. So should post-secondary students, that's college students or university students, should post-secondary students who are investing in their education receive a higher minimum wage than adults who do not enroll in school? Basically, so should college students or students who have a college degree, should they make more money, even if they're in the same field as adults who do not go to school? Do I have a volunteer to go first?
I can start.
Great, thank you, Herman.
In my opinion, my answer is no, because this will be no fair for the people that doesn't want to enroll. But I think the government can help to the students in giving their maybe some helping with money directly to the education. Maybe a part of the price of the education can be paid for the government.
Great. So maybe there can be a different compensation for the college degree. What if it were? Well, let's hear from some other folks. Thank you, Herman. Other people, what do you think? And I think we can look at this question several ways. We can look at it students who are in university while they're in university, or we can think afterwards too.
Can I speak, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that the minimum wage should be the same for both of them. But the reality is that it's now, despite the crisis, now it's impossible to get a job without a post-secondary degree. And it's true that if you have a bachelor degree, your salary will be better. But I'm talking about a large company, because in a small company, I think that is not necessary.
Interesting. Yeah. So some countries have who are in a bad economic spot might have more college degree, unskilled workers with college degrees, and they may not have to pay them more. They might get the same wage. Thanks, Ana Belén. Anyone else? I guess I won't force answers, but how about after the students finish university? Let's say we have a student with a degree and an adult without a degree, and they both work the same position at the same company. Who should make more?
May I?
Yeah, go ahead, Anna Carolina.
I beg to differ with my classmates. I believe that who has invested more should receive more back, because who study more is more prepared, more dedicated, and it should worth it to invest in education.
Good. Yeah, go ahead. You were going to say something else? Okay, great. Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, so after they've achieved that degree, it does seem like they've invested more and deserve more and have more knowledge, maybe. So it depends on the degree as well. How about Natalia? How about you? Any thoughts on?
Yeah. So well, on the one hand, it seems that it's fair if you invest in the education, you should be paid better. But nevertheless, in the case of Russia, I suppose many people would just say that students are usually supported by their parents, and therefore they don't see any reason why students should be paid better salaries. So just this point of view.
Good. Yeah. It certainly doesn't seem to make sense while they're in school. A lot of times they're living at home with parents and may not need a higher wage or may not even be working at all. Interesting. Philip, how about you? Thoughts on that?
Yes, I think those who didn't enroll in school have the right to have a good salary, because even if they didn't go to school, they can have some physical benefits, like they are robust, they are strong enough to make jobs that those who went to school cannot fulfill. So let's say like a man who can carry, who can unload a lorry alone. He has to be paid properly, because he put his strong in to compensate the education he didn't have.
Yeah. Not all skills are about knowledge, right? Yeah. Great points. There are some skills that you don't need school to get that are maybe a big risk or high value, and they should get compensated accordingly. Great, good point, Philip. Thanks. All right, so everyone said a little bit on that. Why don't we wrap up with let's wrap up with some vocabulary. So I notice we have exactly 5 sentences here, and each one has a blank. You fill in the blank with one of these vocabulary words. So let's see. Why don't we start from Ana Belén's side, and we'll move to the right. So Ana Belén will take 1, Ana Cristina 2, Germán 3, Natalia 4, Philip number 5. If that's okay with you all. So let's give it a try. Ana Belén, how about number 1?
I wasn't trying to start a fight. I was...
We can scroll back up. Oh, this... This one, I think, has a different meaning in this sentence. I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, if it's the one I think it is, I don't know how you would know it, because it's very different from this meaning. I think the answer is merely. Merely can mean just barely, but it can also mean only.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and we wouldn't know that from just our vocabulary, but I think it's merely, meaning only. I was merely telling you how I feel. I was only telling you how I feel. So these are tough ones. Who knows? We'll just do our best. Thank you, Ana Belén. Ana Cristina, how about number 2? I mean, Ana Carolina. Did I say Ana Cristina or Ana Carolina? Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Okay. The newlyweds are barely getting by. They only have enough money for groceries and rent.
Excellent, very good.
Teacher,
yes.
Newlyweds.
Newlyweds are people who are just married. So usually within the first 6 months of marriage.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question. And thank you. Germán, how about number 3?
A peaceful community is unrealistic. It will help if we all got...
I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Unrealistic.
Great.
It will help if we all got to know each other.
Excellent, excellent. It could be this. That does make sense. It fits. It's the right part of speech. But I also wonder if they mean within reach also makes sense. Within reach. Yeah, so either of those are good, I think. It makes sense. Slightly, they mean different, but both make sense. Great, thank you, Germán. How about number 4, Natalia?
So, the big banks outsource work from India. This leaves local people unemployed.
Great. Yep, exactly. So they hire people in India. They outsource work from India. Right? And our last one, Philip?
You should think twice before you hire that painter. She has a criminal record.
Right. Excellent. Exactly right. Think twice before you hire that painter. All right. Any questions on any of these?
No, teacher. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, with that, it is exactly the hour. So Thank you, everyone. Thanks for sharing your ideas. And I hope to see you all again in the next class.
Bye-bye, teacher.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,